Hi everyone, welcome to today's lesson here at Active Self-Protection. We are sure glad that you're here to join us. I bet you can tell that this is not our typical intro because we ran out of those. And so we're here teaching this weekend in Grand Junction, Colorado, so you get this special intro. I'm your host as always, John Correa.
And I'm your co-host, Neil Widener.
This outstanding young Rhodes Scholar, who we're going to call Methew, is walking up kind of picking at his t-shirt. Watch him now pull a revolver out of his waistband and then pick his t-shirt up after he walks in order to hide his identity. This is going to work really well while he's got a gun in his hand. Now watch, he is going to wait his turn in line and he's going to stick the gun back between his legs. I'm not joking. Watch, he just did that. And again, from a different angle, watch him here trying to hide his identity and hide the gun and wait his turn for the guy in the stripy purple shirt to finish his transaction and get his cigarettes and Gatorade and then let him get there. And then he's going to pull the gun on the clerk and be like, yo, fam. You can see he's meth tweaking like crazy. You can see him just twitching all over the place. Puts the gun down, give me the money. And there's two clerks behind the counter here. So the clerk finally shows up with that. He puts the gun down again, and now he's gonna grab the money out of the till with his right hand with the gun on the counter. And again, multiple clerks sitting behind the counter. Then he's gonna grab the gun and try to keep his shirt up with his nose that doesn't look like it can hold up a whole lot. He's about 130 pounds soaking wet. Young Methew is here. So we see from the different angle, he's hollering at the clerk. Look at the people in the background, just oblivious to the fact that there's an armed robbery going on, and recognize that they are then going to, he's going to grab all the cash out of the till, grab his gun, and then run off to have a, I'm sure, wonderful time spending that cash on a meth high. They didn't catch this guy, as far as I know. Thankfully, nobody was hurt in this one.
Palm pepper spray is next generation OC spray. It's hot at 1.4% major capsaicinoids, and its modular design means you can customize it exactly to you. 3 different setups, lots of different color combinations. You can make it exactly as you like. And the flip top safety prevents accidental discharges. It's 10 to 12 foot range and 25 half-second blasts. Make sure that you can keep that long range eye poke at long range. I trust Palm OC and I recommend it for everyone for self-defense.
Neil, an interesting note in the beginning as this guy's picking at the front of his shirt, right? That's just a dead tell that he has a gun on him. And I think it's actually a reminder for those of us who are concealed carriers that when you pick at your shirt a whole bunch like this, it's a giveaway that you're armed.
Yeah, if your concealment game isn't very good, this is what we typically see, at least I see, because I pay attention and I watch people as I'm walking into some place like this. Those people that are picking at their shirts or whatever typically aren't confident in their concealment, so they're just making sure that everything's covered. And making an adjustment when you get out of the vehicle is one thing, but walking across the parking lot, picking at your shirt should be a tell to anybody that's paying attention.
Now, also, okay, I've been around enough meth users that you can see somebody who is high on meth, and this guy with his tweaking and all that stuff that he's doing is clearly high at some level. And yes, we're jokingly calling him Methew. Drug use and drug abuse and drug addiction is a terrible thing. But it's also kind of funny because, it makes you do really stupid thing, and then you only need a toothbrush instead of a teeth brush and all that stuff. So paying attention in your world as a self-defender, very important, because this guy is going to come in and draw a gun and have a gun in his right hand and nobody notices it. The clerks don't notice it. The people standing in line don't notice it because they're not paying attention. They're just absorbed in their own little world. And now watch him here. He's gonna try to pick his shirt up so that he is not identifiable. And that is just a huge klaxon bell warning sign, Neil. Like, okay, if I'm paying attention, I see a dude with his hand holding over, a rag over his face, and then I look at his other hand and lo and behold, there's a revolver there. Maybe there's a problem.
Yeah, John, I think it's that thing of, if somebody's acting weird, pay attention. You don't have to, be paranoid. You don't have to, be the punisher and be the guy that is looking up and down every single person. But if somebody catches your vision, you should have some warning signs that go off. And covering your face, especially in 2024, we see a lot of folks still using masks from the COVID days and all that. And I completely respect that. If you want to wear a mask, knock yourself out. But we don't see people walk in holding holding their shirt up over their face. That's not a thing that is normal. Now, maybe it could be, so look at the other hand. You know, that's a part of, you see all of these people are just standing there kind of oblivious to what's going on in the world, and their lives are at risk in all of this as well. So you've got to pay attention when you're in one of these transitional spaces.
Very much. Now, at least young Methew was raised by his mother in order to wait his turn and not be rude to people. And so he is going to then take his time. I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, that he tucks it between his legs while he's waiting in line. Now, from this point forward, Neil, we're going to talk about counter ambush opportunities because they freaking abound in this video, right? Hey, if you are, you should be a concealed carrier, and you should be, know what your go signals are. So look at his first one here. He puts the gun down on the counter, and then he picks his hand up like this and shows his hand. If you've got an expert's draw here, there's your go signal. Okay, man, let me get you my wallet, and then just go and get your gun out and go to work. And I think that this one's over. And also, the clerk that is to our left here has all day to counter ambush here once they've seen the gun.
Yeah, John, that's the thing. The first one that caught me was if I'm if I'm in this scenario, I would like to be the one that's off to our left, simply because he probably had 3 to 4 seconds to get his draw to first shot or get his gun in the game, so that when this guy looked up, he's looking down the barrel of your gun if you want to do that. Now there will be the argument of, well, they complied and nobody got hurt. Well, that's not the case here. People's lives were at risk. People's lives were threatened, and they've got to live with that now that they have looked down the barrel of a gun and they did nothing to defend themselves. And so there is a pretty big psychological payment being made by these two guys behind the counter, and potentially those that had an idea of what was going on in the store as well. But that was the first opportunity that they each had a chance for counter ambush, and there's way more coming.
Oh, here comes a whole bunch more, because now he looks over at the clerk that's to our left, his right. So now the clerk who's on our right. This is our classic 1.5 second draw to first shot. If you have a 1.5 second draw to first shot and he shows you his ear, then because of human performance factors, because of vision, because of reaction times, he cannot get back to you fast enough to draw, to point the gun at you and get a shot off before you are, if you've got a reliable 1.5. And Neil, we show this on Active Self-Protection Extra all the time. A 1.5 is doable for almost anyone.
Yeah, for the average person that carries a gun, it's a very doable thing. It takes a little bit of work, but it's not years and years of work like we used to think. 5-6 years ago, if you were a 1.5 or a 1.0, you were some sort of wizard with a gun. We found through training and mechanics that the process is so much easier than we thought. So a 1.5 is not an unattainable goal. However, for some folks that think they have a 1.5, if they've never tested it, most people don't have that just because they don't do the work.
Make sure that if you're in the ASP Unlimited app, watch the evidence-based pistol skills class, so then that way you can watch the walk-down drill and build that skill yourself. If you're not in the ASP Unlimited app, join us over there. Like 18, 19 full-length firearms training classes in there included in your membership. Now, again, he's going to show himself several times. Now the gun is sitting on the counter, and he is looking at the clerk on our left and pointing at the clerk on our left. Literally here, 2 second draw to first shot from the guy on the right or the guy on the left, because again, he's not got the gun anywhere near him. He doesn't have a proprioceptive index on that gun. This is a marker for me. You might say, well, this is a better outcome because nobody got hurt. But these people are at risk of their life, and they have the right to end that risk as soon as they can. And this is a great argument for concealed carry for me, Neil, is that you should carry your firearm with you everywhere you legally can, and know what your go signals are so that you are ready to protect yourself and you go when the signal happens.
Yeah, John, I absolutely agree. We teach these classes all over, and I teach lessons, and you do too. And we talk about knowing your go signal, and I talk a lot about knowing your math. And if you don't know what your draw to first shot is, then you're at a deficit in a scenario like this. But if you know what your draw to first shot is, and you kind of have these mental reps, understanding that if he looks away from me and I've got XYZ draw to first shot, I am in the game. It doesn't mean you win, but it means that you get to defend your own life, and very likely you're going to win. You've got a massive head start in the game, and it's really not a game. Your life is on the line, and so anybody that's like, well, it's okay because nobody got hurt. Well, people got hurt, and I guarantee you that these two people that stood behind the counter deal with this daily.
They really do. I also want to pay attention to the guy in the purple stripy shirt. We have a armed robbery going on, friend. He has announced an armed robbery at this point, and our guy in the purple striped shirt is going to be completely oblivious to that. He is going to meander around, stand in the doorway a little while, and not get out soon enough because people are just absorbed in their own world. Friends, hear me. Pay attention to your world. Be curious of your world, because you see Methew here waving a gun around. Yeah, he could have got involved too if he was a concealed carrier, but probably a better choice for him is to get out of that area, Neil, as quickly as he can.
Well, yeah, and I may be mistaken. Maybe there were two guys wearing a purple stripy shirt that day, but purple stripy shirt was paying for his whatever when Methew was standing in line. So his business was concluded there as far as we know. So why are we hanging around? So the thing I wonder is, did he hear that when Methew announced the robbery and just wanted to kind of stick around and see what happened? Or was he looking for an opportunity to get involved and then decided at the last second, no, I'm not getting involved? I don't know. But in a transitional space like this, it isn't that you have to rush out, but once you've done your business, there's no reason to stick around. And so I'm a little confused as to why purple shirt guy hung around.
Yeah, and listen, okay, young Methew then is going to run out with a fistful of cash and his little crappy revolver and go off to have some drug-fueled desire, happiness. Okay, fine. Notice here, nobody in the parking lot seems to notice him either. I think this is a big lesson in paying attention. This one it's kind of a mess, but I think if you were prepared here, you had plenty of opportunities. And Neil, I wish more convenience store clerks in Houston were prepared.
It boggles my mind that they're not, and I get it. There's some corporate policies and that kind of thing that hold that back, but it's not always a corporate policy. And one thing, the one or maybe two people that we saw watching Methew run out, we see Red Hat there that's on the screen still, but purple shirt guy watched him run out. There was some opportunity for him to do something or get completely out of Dodge, so he kept himself kind of in that bubble of risk a little bit too long. And so if you know what's going on and you're not going to be involved, then get out of Dodge and cover your own ass.